Hello, good evening, and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So today we're here. It's Thursday night. It's time for an episode of Not What We Hoped For. So basically, this show is I pick an album that I kind of like. Maybe I like it a lot, but for some reason it didn't reach the apogee of where I think it should be. And the album I've chosen for that today is The Who's Tommy. You know, people saying, how can you possibly say not what you hope for? This is Tommy, one of the greatest albums of all time. Well, that's the truth, though, so I can't lie. That would not be appropriate. So, this album, released in 1969 as a concept album, the first really important album that The Who put out, and lots of well-known tracks on here. But to me, this is a collection of related songs that tell a story. We all know what the story is: deaf, dumb, blind kid, right? The story is great. The musical was great. The performance by the band live is great. Everything's great about this album, except for whatever reason, when I listen to it, and I'll listen to it from beginning to end, and I hear the story, and I enjoy the story, and I think it's great, and I think some of the songs are fantastic. My favorite parts probably being Overture, The Acid Queen, of course, Pinball Wizard, and you can't see it here, I'm Free. Those are the ones that most people like. But for some reason, I find it a bit of a disappointment. I don't like it as much as I think I should be over the top in love with this album, but I'm not. In fact, I don't even think this might be one of my top 5 favorite Who albums, but then again, it might not be. So, I'm not sure why that is, but I expected more. I expected something almost cosmical to happen here, and I don't think it did. So, I find it a bit of a disappointment. I'm guessing what I'm saying, if you're listening, is that my expectations of this album are maybe over the top, and it's really not an over the top thing, right? You know, if you break it down into its parts, the written story part, the way they can put all the songs together, the operatic feeling for it, all that stuff. If you put those parts, take the parts apart, it's absolutely near perfection. But when you put them all together, I just don't feel that same thing going on here that maybe other people feel. And if I am overstating it, then I do apologize. But when I decide which albums I should do on a show like this, I say to myself, I look at an album, I say, what do I feel about that album? And if the album is, oh, that's fantastic, I love it, or that album's really good, or that album has a couple of really fantastic tracks, or in the case of this album, I feel like almost a little bit of a letdown, almost a disappointment. I feel like it wasn't what I had envisioned it to be. But at the same time, having said all that, I still think it's a great album. There's lots of good stuff on here. I think Roger Daltrey, one of his best performances on this album, had the live set and the part that they played when they would do it live. I think he absolutely knocks it out of the park. I think he makes this album, really, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, it couldn't exist without Pete Townshend, but in the performance part of it, I think Roger Daltrey really does make this album. So, a great album, but not one of my favorites. And if I'm being honest, it's a bit of a disappointment to me. I kind of had, maybe my expectations were far too high for this album. And maybe it was never supposed to be like that, but that's the way it is. Anyways, that's the album for tonight. That's the album we talked about. It's The Who's legendary classical album, Tommy. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to make any comments about Tommy, you're more than welcome to do so. Um, just keep in mind, though, this is just my opinion. The vast majority of people think this album is an absolute treasure and far exceeds what they expected. So I guess on this point, I'm kind of on my own. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit the like, subscribe, as I said, and make your comments below. And we will see you next week for another episode of Not What We Hoped For. Actually, next week we're starting a new series, which I will get to when I do this week on Sunday. It's going to alternate with this show. I'm taking the ranking of the songs of albums, ranking the songs off an album. I'm taking that out of the playlist and putting it back into the favorites. So we're going to take on a new show. It's called Hidden Gems. We'll be doing that starting next week. So I hope to see you all then. So take care and have yourself a good evening, and goodbye.